Recording in
led by
progress.
Tom.
I pledge allegiance
Pledge
to the
allegiance
flag
to the
of
flag
the United States of America
United States of America
and to the republic
and to the
which
republic
stands
for which it
one
stands,
nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice
with
for all.
and justice for all. Okay, good evening, everyone. Let's we start with open forum or any announcements. The one announcement I want to make, and then Anita, I'll go to you, is at our next select board meeting, which will be February 14th, Valentine's Day. That meeting is going to be hybrid. The select board will be meeting in our meeting room. We will be in person. Anybody who wishes to attend is welcome to attend. And at the same time, we will also have remote access available. So if you just want to tune in remotely, that's fine as well. But this will be the first time since, gosh, I think we did it once or twice very, very early on. When we tried it, we did have some technical difficulties, but since then we believe we've improved. Our assistant town manager and our IT director are on it, so hopefully all will go smoothly on the 14th, and it will also be our new town manager's first select board meeting. So that's all I have. Anita, and then Tom.
Great. So this past weekend was the Lunar New Year celebration. So Happy New Year for all of those who celebrate the Lunar New Year. This Saturday, the 28th, there's going to be a Lunar New Year celebration at the Westford Academy High School. The Westford Academy Asian Culture Club and other volunteers in town, as well as in Chelmsford, are organizing performances, a culture show, and there will also be food. I'm going to put a link into the chat for access to tickets and for more information about the event in general.
Great, thank you. Tom?
The Westford Economic Development Committee got a great update from Neshoba earlier this week, and we were reminded that Neshoba Tech also has career transition programs for adults, and there's an upcoming series of career transition programs for CNC machine operator, plumbing, and automotive services starting in the next couple months. I will put the contact information also in the chat, but if you or a Westford resident that you know is considering a career transition, there's a good pathway to some high growth careers that are right here in town, run at Neshoba Tech.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? I don't see any, and I don't see any from the audience. So we will go to our 7:05 p.m. item, which is a public hearing. It's a request for a change of stock interest on general law, chapter 138, section 12, all alcohol restaurant license for Chung's Kitchen Inc., doing business as Soul Kitchen. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Tom?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Anita?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I guess Mr. Porter, I see that you are with us and are attorney for the applicant. So if you'd like to just advise us, we appreciate it.
I'd be happy to. My name is Matthew Porter. I'm the attorney for Chung's Kitchen Inc., which does business as Soul Kitchen Restaurant in town. Before the board is a request for a transfer of stock interest. So essentially, this is an internal transfer of stock. One of the existing shareholders is selling out their shares. One of the existing shareholders is selling out a portion of their shares, and two new shareholders are coming in. From an outward perspective, nothing will be changing whatsoever. The license manager remains the same. The operation of the business remains entirely the same. So no changes from an outward perspective, essentially just an internal stock transfer. Because there's a liquor license associated with it, we obviously need to come before the town and before the ABCC for approval of that.
Great. And since before you go, we also have following up a request for a change of officers, directors, and a request for a pledge of collateral and inventory on a general law, chapter 138, section 12, all alcohol restaurant license. Do you want to speak to that as well?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So the transfer, or I should say, the change of officers, directors, just the two of the shareholders are coming in, are taking on corporate officer roles. So that relates to the transfer of the stock. As for the pledge of license, the applicant had applied for a loan through Eastern Bank, took out a business loan, and as in consideration for that business loan, Eastern Bank was requesting a pledge of that alcohol license. I'm not sure whether the board is familiar with pledges, but essentially a pledge is security on the bank's loan for that, or I should say is security for the bank's loan, asking for a pledge of license. So if for whatever reason, which I don't believe will ever be the case, the corporation were to default on the loan, the bank has a pledge of that license. Obviously, any applicant that the bank would try to then sell that license to would have to come back before the board for approval. But that's just consideration. It's a security interest for the bank, essentially.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Patty, everything in order?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that, is there, with respect to our public hearing and a request for a change of stock interest, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
See, we're going to be really good in February 14th when we're all together.
Yeah, you gotta be quick.
All those in favor, Tom?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Anita?
Aye.
Aye. And is there a motion to close the public hearing? Sure.
So moved.
Now nobody makes them.
Second.
All those in favor of Tom?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Anita?
Aye.
Aye. And then with respect to the request for a change of officers and directors and a request for a pledge of the collateral, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, Scott?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Anita?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, Mr. Porter.
Thank you, board. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
You too. Okay, we have a public hearing. Our next two items are public hearing items and they don't start till 7:15. And so we're running a little bit ahead of time. So why don't we skip to our consent agenda? And so we have a request to approve the following. The In the Mood Valentine event, and the applicant is Good Picking Farm and Westford Remembers. The date is Saturday, February 18th from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Good Picking Farm at 6 Gould Road. We have a request for a banner for Earth Day Festival on Saturday, April 22nd. The applicant is Lynn Cohen on behalf of Westford Climate Action. The dates for the banner are Friday, April 14th through Monday, April 24th, and the location is in front of the First Parish Church. And we have a request for permission to route part of the annual Boston Brain Tumor Ride through Westford on Sunday, May 21st, 2023. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So
Motion to
moved.
approve. Motion to
Second.
approve, subject to public safety.
Public
comment.
safety.
Right, okay.
Hi,
John?
Brenda.
Yeah,
Did you do the Westford Climate Action?
yes, I did.
Okay, I just went, I thought you went from Pig and Farm to straight to that. Okay,
Nope, I did the banner.
okay,
But thanks for keeping me honest.
well,
All right. All those in favor, Scott?
Aye.
John?
aye.
Anita?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Aye. Let's see. Anybody have any board reports or updates? I don't see any. So moving around, we have minutes for approval. We have minutes for our regular session of December 13th, 2022, December 27th, 2022, and January 10th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve and release?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, John,
Aye.
Anita,
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Aye. And then we have the executive session minutes of January 5th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve but not release?
So
So
moved.
moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, John,
Aye.
Anita,
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'll go back to our 7:15 PM item because the representative from Verizon is with us. So we have a public hearing, which is a request from Verizon New England to place one sole owner pole 16.5 on the easterly side of Oak Hill Road at a point approximately 16 feet southeasterly from existing pole 17. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
All those in favor? John,
Aye.
Anita?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Mr. Del Torondo, I hope I got your name right.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Yes, my name is James De Torondo. I'm representing Verizon New England. Verizon's petitioning, you pretty much said it all, but Verizon's petitioning to place a new pole 16.5, approximately 16 feet southeast of existing pole 17 at the corner of Oak Hill Road and Nabnasset Street. Yeah, so it's all right there. Are there any questions from the public or anyone?
I just have a question. Is this a new pole or are you replacing one? I wasn't quite sure.
So this will be a new pole in between pole 16 and pole 17.
Okay, and Verizon, is Verizon the only utility that's on this pole?
So it will be sole owned by Verizon, correct?
Okay, so no other, so like
So
National-
yeah, so National Grid has opted not to buy interest in it, so they will not be attaching to this pole.
okay, got it. Any other questions from the board? Okay, I don't see any.
I guess the obvious one for the public is the rationale.
Sorry, one more time.
The
I guess
reason,
for the benefit of those listening, what's the rationale for so doing?
Oh, so rationale. So I have here that it could be associated with another project, but it is associated with possible aerial trespass. So we're remedying so that our wires are not crossing over existing properties.
That's weird.
Well, moving it to the corner. That way you get a shot, just keep the lines parallel to the road. Otherwise, they cut across that parcel at 47 Oak Hill Road, I guess. Yeah, it looks good.
okay. All right, is there a motion to approve the poll request from Verizon?
So move.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor, Scott?
Aye.
Anita?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Aye. And is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
Okay, and all those in favor, Scott?
Aye.
Anita?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Aye. All right. The next item was a public hearing for the violation of General Law, Chapter 138, Section 34, which was a sale of alcohol beverages to a person under 21 years of age at the MPG Corporation doing business as Rapid Refill at 498 Groton Road. I was just told before this hearing that Rapid Refill requested a continuance of the hearing until our first meeting in February 14th, because they were not prepared tonight. We will, I think what we need to do is we need to open the public hearing and then continue it till February 14th. And Eric, 8:20, is that what you told me it's been scheduled for?
Yes.
Okay. So is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor? John,
Aye.
Anita,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we will continue this public hearing until February 14th at 8:20 p.m. I will tell Rapid that Rapid Refill that we will not continue the hearing again. We will hear it on February 14th at 8:20. So you best be prepared and you best come to the hearing. You should know that the board takes selling alcohol beverages to underage minors very seriously. And so while we are granting you this continuance for you to be prepared, we will not grant another one. With that, we will continue it till, as I said, February 14th at 8:20. Okay. Our next item is 7:40 p.m. and it has, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, John?
Should we move to close the public hearing?
No, we have to keep it open because we've continued it to till February.
Okay,
14th.
yeah, I thought we closed it right now.
Right, so we keep it open. Our next item is actually has to do with establishing 25-mile-per-hour speed limits on certain roads, and that was not scheduled until 7:40. And since we are running way ahead of time right now, I think we should probably wait a little bit to give folks who may or may not be interested an opportunity to sign in. So why don't we wait on that? We've done the consent agenda. Let's go to our 8:15 p.m. item, which is annual town meeting. Basically, the warrant, the deadline for articles for the warrant was today at 2 p.m., both for those that were placed by town boards and commissions, as well as petition articles. It's not my intent to go over the warrant tonight. All I want to do is close the warrant, and then over the next meetings, we will start to review the particular articles themselves. So is there, and I believe, Patty, am I correct? Are there 26 articles on the warrant now? Or Eric, one of you?
Let me just confirm. We just had a new citizens petition come in.
I thought it's 23, I think.
24.
Okay, so just so
Oh,
folks
that's
know,
right.
we have 24 articles on the warrant. So is there a motion to close the warrant?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
And all those in favor, Anita,
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we can go to old and new business. We have a request to appoint David Tilton of Northern Middlesex Council of Governments as the sealer of weights and measures for Westford in accordance with General Law, Chapter 98, Section 34, appointment of sealers and deputies in cities and large towns. If folks remember, we decided in town meeting approved us contracting with NIMCOG to provide our weights and measures work for us. This is just to, I guess we were told by Mr. Tilton before he can start his work, he needs to be officially appointed. So is there a motion to appoint Mr. Tilton as our sealer of weights and measures?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
And all those in favor, Anita? Tom?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. And then we also have a request from the Scholarship and Grant Committee to appoint Brock Moses as a full member for a term expiring on June 30th, 2024. Is there a motion to appoint Brock Moses?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor, Scott?
Aye.
Anita?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we did board reports and updates. We did minutes for review. Let's go to the town manager's report. Eric, you're up.
Okay, pretty short tonight, everyone. We have a request to approve the following. We have a contract with Northern Middlesex Council of Governments for the 2023 near map imagery subscription, the amount of $5,500 as requested by the town manager's office. And one purchase order for Colonial Municipal Group for a 2023 Chevrolet 3500 dump truck in the amount of $69,509.11 as requested by the Public Works Department.
Any questions? I don't see any. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
All those in favor, Scott?
Aye.
Anita?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we've gone through our agenda with the exception of the roads and the pedestrian safety committee's request. I'm
I
not,
don't see Chris. That's the
Either-
problem.
yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing, Eric. I don't see Chris either. And Scott,
Can we play Final Jeopardy music for a while till he shows up?
I'm sorry, what?
We should play Final Jeopardy music for a little while till he shows up.
I don't really want to, I don't really want to hear this without Chris being here. I actually think I can text him. So if
Sure,
everybody,
I'll do that right now.
if everybody hangs on a minute or two.
I just texted him, Andrea.
Oh, okay, thank you.
He just said, okay, so
Okay. We're so efficient tonight.
when half our hearings cancel out, it makes things very efficient.
Does make things easier, true. He is here. Oh, and we have music. Eric, did you do that? No?
That wasn't me.
Oh.
This is interesting. This is not coming from me, by the way, but I do enjoy the music.
It's your intro, Chris.
All right, fantastic.
I think that was Africa by Toto, wasn't it?
That's right.
Exactly right.
Perfect song for Chris.
Right.
Hey, Chris. So
Hi,
we're very efficient and early tonight.
Okay, so I guess you want to get started then with this agenda item? Okay.
Yes, please.
Yep. So Chris Barrett, Chair of the Pedestrian Safety Committee. I'm here this evening to hopefully close a loop on a long-standing recommendation that the Pedestrian Safety Committee brought to you folk back in early 2022. Actually, it might have even been late 2021 at this point. And that is to look to use the powers granted to you under Mass General Law, Chapter 90, Section 17C, to establish new statutory speed limits on certain sections of roads in Westford. We had worked closely with Westford Police Department to identify 4 road segments that we have met with the butters to those segments back in 2022 to hear, their feedback, brought back to you all in 2022, the recommendation that we bring forward an article to town meeting looking to grant the select board the authority to move forward with changing the speed limit. That article passed at town meeting. And so we're here this evening, coming back to hopefully ask for your support to actually set those speed limits on those sections of road.
And just for the public, Chris, can you identify the road sections we're talking about?
Absolutely. So one is for approximately 33 Main Street to approximately 117 Main Street. So down by where Tadmuck comes into Main Street. Oh, do we have a visual? Oh, even better. The one that we currently have on the screen right now is 30 West Prescott to 25 Pleasant Street. And this one, as well as part of Main Street, we already have a speed advisory in place here. So we would be simply swapping out this existing signage and putting in signage that's appropriate to 17C. And then the last recommendation was for all of Patton Road, which is the road that WA is on.
Okay. Questions from the board? John?
Chris, part of this is Route 225. I thought that, is that a state road? I thought we were unable to do that on a state road.
I'm not aware that that's a state road and that's even a restriction.
It's not a state road down there. It's a state road at the other end of 225.
Up by Carlisle
Yeah.
border. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
but not down there.
okay. Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, Chris, this looks like it has a lot of support and is very well thought out and will benefit the residents. There was a note in our packet from a resident who's on that last little stub of Cold Spring Road before it hits Patton, who asked why that couldn't be included. I'm sure you've got a great reason, but maybe just if you could just explain to us why that either wasn't considered or wasn't eligible.
Yes, great question. So I think one of the biggest challenges with walking through or trying to determine which roadways we wanted to support, because there probably are a lot of other candidates in the town, was one looking for something that was thickly settled. So that is a key component of the determination, and that requires that the houses be within 200 feet of each other. High pedestrian or bicycle traffic. And most importantly, we wanted to have the Westford Police Department feel that they could support, the actual enforcement of these speeds. So the short list that we came up with was to, I think, to make them feel comfortable with moving forward with this, make sure that they can enforce the limits, that we stayed within the boundaries set by the state in terms of where this could be set. So I think looking at the segment that you just mentioned, we would need to do a little bit more analysis and have a little bit more conversation with the Westford Police Department to make sure that they felt comfortable with including that segment going forward. I think the Pedestrian Safety Committee would like to see this expand as we, in the future. And we look to see it, that the segments that we've laid out before you is sort of a first step.
Okay, John?
Chris, is that segment too that the citizen wanted to include? Isn't that too short? I thought there had to be about quarter of a mile or something like that to be added.
Well, you may be thinking of the determination of thickly settled. So yes, there's a certain distance that has to have the coverage for. Primarily, one of the challenges, I think, of setting it in just small segments is notifying the motorists that that's going to occur, that there's going to be a change in speed, and I think that needs to be thought through. And one of the reasons why we have, another reasons why we're sticking with the initial recommendation is that we have existing speed advisories already at those locations, with the exception of Patton Road, and then the extension that we're doing on Main Street. So, that process has sort of been thought through previously with engineering and Westford Police Department.
Okay, thank you.
And Chris, this doesn't stop anybody or residents on any particular road if they desire to have a 25-mile speed limit from coming to the Pedestrian Safety Committee and asking you to look at that and investigate whether it might be appropriate or not, right?
That is absolutely correct. And we encourage any residents out there to feel free to engage us, and we can, talk with our partners on Westford Police Department and the, town staff to make sure it's appropriate, and then bring forward that recommendation to you all.
Okay. That sounds great. Does anybody else have any questions? I don't see any, and I don't see any from the audience. Is there a motion to approve establishing a 25 mile per hour speed limit in accordance with 2022 annual town meeting approval for the locations of 33 Main Street to approximately 117 Main Street, 30 West Prescott Street to approximately 25 Pleasant Street, and Patton Road?
So moved.
Andrew, just so you see, there is a question from an attendee. I don't know if that affects whether we want to move forward with the vote or not, but.
You know what, Tom, it's not showing, it's not showing, oh, now it is. Okay, yes, I'll definitely hear from Debbie Vardaro. It wasn't showing up on my screen for a minute. Hi, Debbie, you need to unmute yourself?
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I live on the 225 end of Patton Road. I live right near the two blind corners of Patton Road. And so I'm wondering, how are you going to be able to enforce the 25 miles? So when people come off from, if you're coming from Beaverbrook Road onto Patton Road, they go around that corner really, really fast. I mean, even though there's signage there saying, go slow. I mean, I've almost been hit there twice. So there's that issue. And then there's the other issue with the blind corner, but that might be something different. But how can we enforce that? I mean, how would that go?
We do have the deputy chief
Yep.
in attendance. Maybe that's a question for him.
Yeah, I was going to say our deputy chief of police is on. So can we promote him? Hi, Ron.
Can you hear me?
Now we can, yes.
Great, thank you. Good evening, members of the board. We would enforce the speed limits on Patton Road as the same as we do any road. We just ask if there is a complaint of people are speeding on those roads, that they notify the police department. We do, we have been increasing our radar assignments and speed enforcement around the school, especially during school hours. But like I said, we just ask that we be notified if there is a problem here. We ask that the resident contact the police department and let us know about the problem. We can speak to them. We can ask to speak to our traffic officers, or they can ask to speak to our administration captain, and they can they set up radar assignments there and stuff and address the problem. As far as the speed limit being changed, the fine schedule doesn't change. It's just the lower the speed, it makes for easier, like instead of it being a 25, instead of it being a 30 mile per hour enforcement, it's 25. But like I said, the fine schedule is the same.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And Debbie, I guess, if you're really noticing speeding, I would contact the police department, and they certainly are capable of setting up radar in that particular area.
Right. I mean, one of the problems with that particular area is that there's a fence that goes around a house. So when you're walking down that way, you can't see what's coming around the corner. And you can't see, and then the driver can't see either. Right. So that's a really tight corner that they go around, and they tend to go around really quickly. But like I said, so if I see, I mean, people do speed around there, they're on their way quickly to pick up their child from high school, or they're late for something, whatever. But you know, that is a dangerous area right there. I'm just pointing that out.
No, I appreciate it. And, you know, as I said, get in touch with the police. And I would ask, you know, folks who are driving in that area, please be mindful that it is now a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ellen Hardy has her hand up. So if we could promote her, please.
39 Main Street. I think I'm wearing my Common Restoration Project hat on, and I'd just like to go back to the spring of 2019 when I came to your board along with then Deputy Chief of Police Mark Chambers. And this legislation had just been passed. And we asked for permission to do 2 pilot programs at 25 miles an hour, which your board endorsed, for a 1-year pilot program to see how it worked. And those 2 areas were the Forge Village Historic Village District, starting on West Prescott Street and going up Pleasant Street. And then in the center, Main Street from Graniteville Road down to Rodenbush, Boston Road, starting at Museum, and Lincoln Street. The arrangement was that we would monitor it for 1 year and then come back with a report. In the spring of 2020, both Mark Chambers and I realized that it had made 0 difference on how much people spend in Westford Center. My home, as well as a business I'm involved with, are both on that stretch, and it made no difference at all. And Mark and I were prepared to come to your board to give our 1-year review, and COVID hit, and 25-mile-an-hour speed limits was not the highest priority on your agenda, nor should it have been. But I tell you that because it has been a failure. And I admire Chris, and I would love it to work. And Ron, I have the greatest admiration, and the police always say the same thing, you know, call us and it will be enforced, but it doesn't work. And I don't know why. I've spoken to an officer from Concord who lives in Westford, because in Concord, when you get to Concord Center, you slow down, and because you know that you'll get ticketed if you don't. And that doesn't happen in Westford. And of course, that's what stops people who go 40 miles an hour down Main Street, just so would go by my window this very moment, rather than the 25 miles an hour that's posted. So I hear what you say, Ron, but I just don't see how it's going to happen, because history has proven that it hasn't worked. So I need to, well, I put that on the table. I'd love it if it did, but in Westford, 25 miles an hour posted speed limit does not mean anything close to 25 miles an hour. And it doesn't mean people get tickets, because I look out my window all day and I don't see people getting pulled over. So that's all I wanted to bring up tonight. I don't want to discourage what you're doing, Chris, but I think we must look at ourselves in the mirror and really wonder if it's worth buying the signs, putting them up, and believing it's gonna, because I don't see what's changed since June of 2019, when those 2 districts were created. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Ellen. We also have one other question, which is from Diane Wood, which says, how will we be, I think she tried to say, communicating the launch of this? So I guess, yeah, that is, I guess, the question, and I'm not sure if it's for Chris or Ron, is the idea that we are going to be ordering signs for these roads, and do we know when the signs will be ordered and how long it takes for them to come in? And, you know, is there some way we communicate this to the residents before, you know, the signs just appear?
I think that would be an implementation question for our DPW director. He might be best suited to.
Oh, okay. And he is here. So can we promote Steve Cronin? Hi, Steve.
Hello, you're able to hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Yeah, so we have been in touch with our sign maker, and
have given us a quote on the signs. I can't tell you the exact turnaround time on how quickly we can receive them, but we have ordered some signs recently and seen them within 2 weeks. So once they're in stock, it'll take us probably about a week to 2 weeks to install them. As far as notifying the public, that's something we can work with the town manager's office on, putting things out on social media and through the town newsletter as well.
Yeah, I was going to suggest, we do our usual, publicity through, town manager's office, up on the, the website, WestfordCAT, the newsletter, and other places we can think of. Tom?
Thanks, Andrew. I'm sure smart folks have already thought of this, but we do have those digital highway signs. I wonder if we could put those up in the affected areas, give people a 2-week notice period. And to Ellen's point, and to Ellen's point, I'm sure that the police are thinking about this too, but you're right, nothing sets you back on your heels like getting a ticket. So if there is a way to, put a special focus on those areas for a while so people get the sense that they're going to get a ticket, I think that would help.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I know that, when you put up the, the radar that said 30 miles an hour on Boston Road, that certainly slowed traffic down for a while. I also noticed that it's not working again. So maybe we could get that working again, because I did see that discouraged people. And I know that a couple of times, or more than a couple of times, there were police out there, and that also deterred people. So Ron, perhaps, you and the chief can talk about that and see if you can get that implementation back in place.
No, Stephanie, we'll take a look at that.
Great. Anita?
Yeah, I was thinking about that radar thing as well. And I know that there's ones that we see at least going into Chelmsford where it's like a solar one. So you don't have to always like download the data or whatever. And I just wonder if those might be more appropriate for a little bit more like long-term use, which is what we're looking for here, I think, for these spots.
Yeah. Ellen has her hand up again.
Director. The last time signs went up, we did have an arrangement that those signs that go up in the historic areas in town, in Forge, Graniteville, Brookside, the center, and Parker Village. I didn't win the argument to try and have them be gray and reflect this other signage that's in those areas, but the compromise was made that at least the sign posts themselves would be wooden and they would be gray and match those. But the one that is the signs themselves that were put up in June of 2019, they are the yellow regulation 25-mile-an-hour signs. But if we could have the signposts match the other ones, that would be a touch of the historic that we're trying to maintain in those districts. So thank you for that, Steve. And I see Chris is nodding, so he's heard me say this before. So thank you.
Thanks, Ellen.
Yeah.
You got that, Steve?
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you, kind sir.
All right. I don't see any other questions or comments. So with that, John?
I second the motion.
Thank you. I knew we knew Steele needed a second. All right. All those in favor, Anita?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all for all your hard work. Ron, Chris, the Pedestrian Safety Committee, all of the folks who have commented here tonight. And to Westford residents, please slow down. Okay. If it takes you an extra minute, it's okay. Slow down. And also that will help all the other people who don't live in Westford to slow down behind you.
Right. Yep. Good point.
So thank you all. I think, all that we have left is correspondence.
All right. I'm out. See you guys. Thank you.
Bye, Chris. Thank you.
Have a good night.
And thank you, Ron. I think all we have left is correspondence. So is there a motion to waive reading of correspondence?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor, just raise your hands. Okay, and is there a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Westford. Everybody stay safe and be well, and we'll see the select board